A stormy night and an unexpected passenger. It was a stormy evening in the city, rain pouring heavily and thunder echoing through the streets. Traffic was chaotic, and most drivers were avoiding the roads. Amidst this weather, an aging taxi driver named Karim was still working, hoping to earn a little extra to cover his grandson's school fees. Around 9 p.m., just as he was about to call it a night, he saw a woman standing by the roadside, drenched, holding a baby in her arms, and desperately waving for help. Her eyes were filled with panic and tears streamed down her cheeks. Without hesitation, Karim pulled over. The woman rushed in and begged him to drive her to a hospital across town. Karim noticed the baby was unconscious. Without asking any questions, he hit the accelerator, knowing that every second counted. He could sense this wasn't just a fare, it was a matter of life and death. The race against time. Karim drove like never before, navigating slippery roads and avoiding traffic jams with sheer instinct. The woman kept sobbing, clutching her baby tightly and whispering prayers under her breath. She told Karim that the baby had suddenly stopped breathing at home, and they couldn't find any transportation quickly due to the storm. Karim reassured her, keeping calm despite the intense pressure. His old taxi engine roared through the rain-soaked streets, cutting through lanes and narrowly avoiding accidents. Other drivers honked and shouted, but Karim was focused only on one thing: getting that baby to the hospital. It felt like the longest 15 minutes of his life. When they reached the hospital, he helped her carry the baby inside and shouted for the nurses. Within moments, doctors rushed to attend the child. Karim stood outside, drenched, heart pounding, silently praying that the child would survive. Refusing the fare. After about 20 minutes, the mother came out, eyes swollen with tears, but this time, tears of gratitude. "He's stable now. They say he'll be fine," she said, breaking into sobs again, this time from relief. She reached into her soaked purse to offer Karim the fare, but he raised his hand and gently refused. "I'm a grandfather too," he said softly. "Some things are more important than money." The woman insisted, trying to push some notes into his hand, but he firmly declined. "Take care of your baby. That's all I want." The woman looked at him with disbelief, then hugged him tightly. She asked for his name, but he just smiled and said, "Just call me Uncle Karim." She thanked him again and again as he walked back to his taxi. It was one of the rare moments in Karim's life when he felt deeply fulfilled. Money could never match this feeling. A quiet return home. Karim drove home slowly that night, his mind replaying the entire event. The rain had stopped by then, and the streets were silent. He parked his taxi outside his small apartment and climbed the stairs quietly. His daughter and grandson were already asleep. As he changed his clothes, he glanced at a framed photo of his late wife. "You would have been proud today," he whispered, a soft smile on his face. He lay on the old sofa, tired yet peaceful. His phone was silent, and he didn't expect any calls that night. But something in his heart felt different, like life had given him a rare opportunity to truly help someone. Though he hadn't earned much that evening, he felt richer than ever. Just as he was about to drift into sleep, his phone lit up on the side table. A call from an unknown number blinked on the screen. The shocking phone call. Curious and slightly alarmed, Karim picked up the call. A calm male voice greeted him. "Is this Mr. Karim, the taxi driver?" Karim confirmed cautiously. The caller introduced himself as Dr. Yusuf, the head pediatrician at the hospital. "I wanted to personally thank you," he said. "If it weren't for your quick response and selfless action, that child might not have survived. We were able to stabilize him in time." Karim smiled humbly and said he was just doing what anyone would. But then came the surprise. "The baby's mother is a member of our hospital's board," the doctor revealed. "She was too emotional to say much earlier, but she insisted we find you and offer you something in return." Karim was taken aback. He never expected anything in return. The doctor continued, "Can you come to the hospital tomorrow? She would like to meet you again." Karim agreed, still stunned. The hospital visit. The next morning, Karim wore his cleanest clothes and headed to the hospital. As he entered, a nurse guided him to a private lounge. Inside, the same woman from last night stood with her husband, both visibly emotional. They greeted him warmly and introduced themselves as Anisa and Khalid. Khalid shook Karim's hand firmly and said, "Sir, we owe you our child's life. We're forever in your debt." Karim smiled and replied, "No debt. Just be happy and raise your son well." But the couple had something else in mind. Anisa handed him an envelope and said, "Please accept this small token of gratitude." Karim opened it and found documents, ownership papers of a brand new taxi. Shocked, he looked up. "You deserve better than the old car you drive. We wanted to thank you in a way that helps you too." Tears welled up in Karim's eyes. He was speechless. The new taxi surprise. Karim couldn't believe what he was holding. A brand new taxi, registered in his name, fully insured, and ready for use, something he never dreamed he could afford. The couple insisted it was the least they could do. Khalid added, "My father was a taxi driver too. He raised me with pride. We see our father's spirit in you." Karim's hands trembled as he accepted the keys. Anisa said, "We also deposited 1 year's worth of insurance and fuel expenses. You shouldn't worry about anything." Karim could hardly speak, overwhelmed with gratitude. For a man who had lived humbly all his life, this act of kindness was beyond anything he'd ever known. As he stepped out and saw the shiny yellow taxi with his name on it, he whispered, "Thank you, God." His life had changed in a single night, not because he asked for it, but because he acted with heart. A story that spread like fire. The story of Karim's kind act and the family's gratitude didn't remain a secret for long. One of the hospital staff posted about it on social media, and within days, the story went viral. News channels picked it up, and Karim found himself being interviewed by reporters, asked to share his experience. He remained humble through it all, always ending his story with, "I did what any decent human would." People began recognizing him on the streets, some even offering to shake his hand or give him free services. His old taxi driver friends were proud, and his grandson boasted at school, "That's my grandpa." Karim never sought fame or rewards, but he embraced the love that followed. More importantly, he inspired hundreds of others to act kindly in everyday life. His one gesture had started a ripple effect of compassion in the community. Karim's life after the incident. Karim's life took a positive turn after that rainy night. With the new taxi, his income doubled. He was able to afford better education for his grandson, improve his home, and even support a few local orphans with monthly groceries. He often drove patients to hospitals for free if they couldn't pay. "Someone once did it for my family too," he would say with a smile. The recognition and small fame never changed his grounded nature. He still lived modestly, prayed daily, and believed in the goodness of people. His story was featured in local schools as a lesson in moral education. He was invited to speak at community gatherings. For Karim, the greatest reward wasn't the taxi or the recognition, it was knowing that his actions had helped a mother save her child and reminded the world that humanity still existed, even in the busiest corners of a noisy city. The legacy of a taxi driver. Years passed, but Karim's story continued to echo in hearts and classrooms. When he eventually retired, his grandson took over the taxi, keeping the legacy alive. The yellow taxi became a symbol of hope and kindness in the city. People would wave at it, smile, or stop to hear the story from the next generation. Karim's photo hung inside the vehicle with a quote, "Compassion is the greatest journey you'll ever drive." The boy would often recount the night his grandfather became a hero, not with power or money, but with heart and courage. Karim spent his final years peacefully, surrounded by a loving community and a grateful family. His act of kindness had planted seeds that grew far and wide. And when he passed, hundreds gathered to say goodbye not just to a taxi driver, but to a legend who proved that one good deed can change the world.